Welcome back to NexLore Game Analysis. Tonight we're opening one of gaming's darkest cases, a series of missing children, haunted machines, and a story buried beneath years of clues. This is Five Nights at Freddy's. Created and published by indie developer Cawthon, Five Nights at Freddy's first launched in 2014 and now has 6 main entries. What made Five Nights at Freddy's famous wasn't just its tense horror gameplay, but the mystery behind its story, a vague yet gripping mystery for everyone who's played the series. Most of the clues and key story details in Five Nights at Freddy's are scattered across all 6 games, and the full story is never told directly. So what truly happened remains a mystery to many players. You can easily find explanations online, but they're all theories. No one knows which one is truly correct. After spending a long time researching and gathering evidence, here's what I found. First, each game's story feels disconnected. It can seem like every entry tells a different story, but they all form one larger narrative. Every detail in the 8-bit minigames matters. Each one connects to the main story. Across the Five Nights at Freddy's series, we usually play as a night guard, surviving 5 nights in the main game and 2 more bonus nights. Each night, you must evade the roaming animatronics, the machines behind the iconic jump scares that define Five Nights at Freddy's. Now I'll summarize all 6 main games, break down the clues they leave behind, and build a theory around the full story. First up, Five Nights at Freddy's 1. We play as a mysterious employee hired to guard a popular children's entertainment restaurant, Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. The job becomes anything but normal when midnight arrives. The restaurant's famous animatronics begin acting strangely and try to kill us. In the first game, we meet 4 main animatronics, Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy, plus the mysterious Golden Freddy. We also receive recorded messages from a man known as Phone Guy. These 5 animatronics and Phone Guy return across the games, providing clues that become crucial to the wider story in the series. Next comes Five Nights at Freddy's 2. The protagonist's goal is much the same as before: survive 7 nights at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. This sequel introduces a new animatronic called the Puppet, a strange figure kept inside a music box. It also introduces 8-bit minigames, where much of the hidden story is revealed. Five Nights at Freddy's 3 takes place 30 years after the first game. We guard an attraction based on the old Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. It's called Fazbear's Fright. Here, we encounter Springtrap, a decayed yellow rabbit suit. The game also includes 8-bit minigames about a birthday party. Five Nights at Freddy's 4 changes the formula. We're no longer a night guard watching cameras from an office or recorded calls. Instead, we're trapped in a child's bedroom. After each night, we receive an 8-bit minigame about a birthday party where a young boy dies in a tragic accident. By the 5th entry, the series drops the numbering and uses the title Five Nights at Freddy's sister location. This game takes us to a facility called Circus Baby's Pizza World, filled with advanced technology. There, we face a new group of animatronics, most notably Circus Baby. She speaks to us and guides us throughout the game. The 6th entry, Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria Simulator, is a unique part of the main series. It lets you run your own Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria, earn points, and play minigames. They seem simple and light-hearted, but they hide some of the story's most important clues. That's the quick overview of all 6 games. Now let's go deeper into the details and how they connect to the bigger picture. First, Five Nights at Freddy's 1. After finishing it, we're left with several major clues. Freddy Fazbear's Pizza was once hugely popular with families and children. Its main attraction was its animatronic cast. Years earlier, 5 children disappeared in Sadithi restaurant. The police never found them. Security footage showed someone wearing a mascot suit leading the 5 children into a back room. A newspaper also reported that the animatronics are leaking fluid and giving off a foul smell. Putting those clues together, we can infer that the costumed man murdered the children and hid their bodies inside the animatronics. Their restless spirits then possess those machines. That would explain why they become so violent after dark. One newspaper also mentions the bite of 87, an incident that helped shut the restaurant down. The protagonist here is named Mike Schmidt. We learn this after completing the 5th night. If we continue to night 7, he receives a termination notice for tampering with the animatronics and having a bad odor. From this detail, we can assume the restaurant owners checked the cameras and saw the animatronics moving after midnight. They may have believed Mike climbed inside Thesuits and damaged them, causing the terrible smell. The paycheck after night 5 shows a date, but no year. So for now, we can't determine exactly when the first game fits into the series timeline. I'll leave the first game on its own with an unknown date. Next are the clues from Five Nights at Freddy's 2. It also takes place at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. This is where the 8-bit minigames first appear. Through them, we learn that the purple guy may be the killer behind the original missing children case. The protagonist is Jeremy Fitzgerald. If we continue through night 6, his paycheck comes with a notice saying Freddy Fazbear's Pizza will close only weeks after opening. If we then play night 7, another termination notice appears. Same reason as before, tampering with the animatronics and a foul odor. But look closely at the name on this notice, Fritz Smith, not our main character Jeremy. It also identifies him as employee number 3, which tells us this location had 3 employees, not just Jeremy. All 3 were fired for the same reason. That leads me to a theory, perhaps the restaurant owner knew what was happening. He knew the animatronics were haunted and that they roamed at night and killed people. That could explain why he never inspected the inside of suits despite the leaking fluid and horrible smell. Firing every guard for the same rear suggests he was hiding something. The paycheck also tells us exactly when Five Nights at Freddy's 2 takes place, 1987. And since Freddy Fazbear's Pizza closes afterward, I barely ever the bite of 87 is the incident that occurs during this game. 5 children are also murdered in Part 2. The minigame confirm it, and the killer is none other than the purple guy. Now let's move to Five Nights at Freddy's 3. We know its events take place 30 years after the first game, but since Part 1's date is still unknown, I'll place Part 3 later on the timeline. For now, the setting is Fazbear's Fright, a horror attraction based on the old pizzeria. After playing, we learn that the game's only real physical threat is Springtrap, a ruined yellow rabbit. The other animatronics are only phantoms and cannot kill the player. They distract us so Springtrap can reach us. Through the minigames, we discover that a party once took place. By finding hidden paths, each character we control must deliver cake to a young boy. For now, I'll call him the Crying Child. If you find every cake, you unlock a secret minigame. There, we see 5 children wearing 5 different animal masks at a party, which I believe is the Crying Child's birthday. So it's possible these are the same 5 children who were murdered and hidden inside the machines. The shapes of their masks support this idea. We can identify Freddy, Chica, Foxy, and Bonnie. The boy's mask looks similar to the Freddy mask, but it has no color. I believe it represents Golden Freddy. This begins to explain how the animatronics connect to their past. But there's one contradiction. We can see 6 children here, not 5. The 6th is the character we control, wearing a clown-like mask. If you've played the second game, you'll recognize an animatronic with a face just like it, the puppet, the figure inside the music box. Notice how the other children wear animal masks. This suggests they died and became those characters. But the child we control already has the puppet's face before entering the birthday party. That suggests this child died and Becca met the puppet before the party happened. We see evidence of this in the Part 2 minigame Take Cake to the Children. Outside the building, the purple guy finds a kid locked outside, kills them, and drives away. Then the puppet appears. For some reason, the child arrived late, was locked outside, and couldn't get in. The purple guy then lured the child away, murdered them, and created the puppet. One final secret minigame in Part 3 reveals how Springtrap was created. We play one by one as Freddy, Chica, Foxy, and Bonnie, the 4 original animatronics, roaming the restaurant. In the back room, the purple guy attacks and dismantles them. After all 4 have been destroyed, we control the spirit of a child. Look closely and you'll see that the child is crying. I believe this is the same crying child seen before. We guide his spirit toward the purple guy, who seems terrified of him. In a moment of panic, the killer hides inside the Spring Bonnie suit, but its spring locks crush him to death. That's how Springtrap is born, an animatronic containing the killer's spirit. The question is, why was he so afraid of this child's ghost? This game doesn't give us the answer, but the next one provides an important clue. Now we move to Five Nights at Freddy's 4. The first major detail is made clear. Part 4 no longer takes place in a security office filled with cameras. It happens inside a child's bedroom. Through the minigames, we learn that the protagonist is the crying child, the same boy seen in Part 3 as minigames. Part 4 takes place in the days leading up to his birthday. The party will be held at the pizzeria. He has invited his closest friends. We can also conclude that, by this point, he and his friends are already dead. The minigames also reveal that the crying child has an older brother. He wears a foxy mask and bullies him every day. Many animatronics appear in this game, but remember, they belong to Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, so how could they appear inside a child's home? As we know, every game connects to one continuous story. This cannot be a completely separate event. My theory is that the animatronics are nightmares born from the boy's trauma. Their names support this. Every animatronics in this game begins with Nightmare. That says it all. It may also explain why the crying child is always crying. He lives in constant fear of these machines. At the end of the minigames, we learn what caused his death, his older brother. The brother bullies him everywhere they go. Throughout minigames, he jumps out in a foxy mask to frighten us. At the birthday party, he and his friends wear character masks and shove the boy into the mouth of Golden Freddy. From this, we see how Golden Freddy was created. But something doesn't add up. For an animatronic to become possessed and start moving, a child's body must be placed inside it. So who put the crying child's body inside Golden Freddy? In the ending, we see the final scene of the minigame. Golden Freddy tells the dying boy not to worry, promising to bring him back together with his friends. This suggests that someone very close to the child spoke to him as he was dying. We can therefore connect the purple guy, the man who killed the child's friends, with the person speaking to him in his final moments. One thing I want to make clear, the older brother cannot be the purple guy. There are several clues. The developer carefully avoids showing us the brother's face or name, but repeatedly connects him with Foxy. And in the Five Nights at Freddy's 2 minigame, Foxy Go, 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 we control Foxy and witness the purple guy murder 5 children. There are more reasons behind this, but they appear in later games, I'll explain later. So, the purple guy and the brother are clearly different people. The final detail is that these events take place in 1983. We learned this from the television show Inside the Crying Child's Home. That date also fits with the events established in the earlier games. But wait, something still doesn't fit. We know the bite of 87 happened in 1987, but here, the crying child and his friends are killed and become the first animatronics. If Five Nights at Freddy's 2 is the missing children case, then those animatronics were already unstable by then. This suggests the two groups are separate cases. Some sources I've read propose that the purple guy actually killed 10 children. The 5 linked to Part 4 in 1983 became a Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, Foxy, and the puppet. Another 5 died around Part 2 in 1987, leading to the bite of 87. It's an interesting theory, and it fits the clues we've discussed so far. Now we come to Five Nights at Freddy's sister location, one of the series' most important entries. Despite its title, though it's unnumbered, I still consider it the 5th main game. For once, we receive full trailers and voiced character dialogue which reveal major parts of the story. The first clue is the game's opening scene.
There's no doubting what you've achieved on a technical level. These are clearly state-of-the-art. There are just certain design choices that were made for these robots that we don't fully understand. We were hoping that you could shed some light on those.
She can dance. She can sing. She's equipped with a built-in helium tank for inflating balloons right at her fingertips. She can take song requests. She can even dispense ice cream.
With all due respect, those aren't the design choices we were curious about, Mr. Afton.
We hear a man being questioned and later learn that his name is William Afton. He created the Circus Baby animatronics, machines designed to entertain children, and owned Circus Baby's Pizza World, a popular restaurant from the 1970s. Near the start of the game, we're asked to enter a name. The system suggests Mike. I believe our protagonist is Mike Schmidt from Five Nights at Freddy's 1. Another clue, whatever name you enter, unless it matches the suggestion, the system reports an error. As the game continues, we learn that William Afton had a daughter named Elizabeth. In the final minigames, we discover she was killed by his own creation. Circus Baby pulled her inside its body. After this tragedy, we also learn that Afton's wife died for some unknown reason, and that he placed her body inside Ballora. At this point, the conclusion is clear: William Afton is the purple guy. No doubt remains. His methods and his knowledge of the animatronics and Trant design explain how he could dismantle them. There's also a secret in the facility's control room at Circus Baby's facility where several monitors sit. Enter the code 1983 and 3 camera feeds. Activate. Look closely, they're 3 rooms from the house in part 4. So why did William place cameras inside the crying child's room? We already know William is the purple guy. Before the crying child died, he said that the boy wouldn't be left alone. From these clues, I believe William Afton was the crying child's father. The part for minigames strengthened this theory. If we walk to the right side of the house, we can enter another bedroom. Based on its colors and decorations, it appears to belong to a girl. In other words, it may be Elizabeth Afton's room, the crying child's younger sister. William may have placed cameras in his son's room to monitor and control him, so the tragedy with Elizabeth wouldn't happen again. That also answers an earlier question: why did William panic when he saw the crying child's spirit, then hide inside the Spring Bonnie suit where the spring locks killed him? The next clue completely changes the story of the entire series. After completing every hidden challenge and Thegum's harder modes, we unlock a final cutscene. And in that scene comes a shock. The character we've been playing is Michael Afton, William Afton's son, and the crying child's older brother.
Father, it's me, Michael. I did it. I found it. It was right where you said it would be. They were all there. They didn't recognize me at first, but then they thought I was you. And I found her. I put her back together, just like you asked me to. She's free now. But something is wrong with me. I should be dead, but I'm not. I've been living in shadows. There is only one thing left for me to do now. I'm going to come find you. I'm going to come find you.
Look closely at the background. The scene appears to show a location that has recently burned down. In the final seconds, the name appears, Fazbear's Fright, just before Springtrap appears. I believe this continues the ending of Part 3, where Michael confronts Springtrap and burns the attraction down to free his brother and the others from the machines. That would also explain why, after completing Night 6 in Part 3, a newspaper reports that Fazbear's Fright burned to the ground. Since Michael uses the name Mike before returning to Circus Baby's facility, I would place sister location after Part 2, but before Part 3. Now we reach the final game in the original main series, Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria Simulator. At first, it seems like light minigames but running your own pizza restaurant. The game almost feels like Aston Dallone title, full of arcade games. But one minigame contains an especially important clue. In Midnight Motorist, we drive a car through the rain. At first, nothing seems unusual, until we discover a hidden route leading to a lonely house in the woods. We then control a yellow man. Inside, we meet someone watching television. Farther in, we find a locked bedroom. Based on Thacker actors Dilajal, here's a strong theory about this scene. First, someone watches television. As we know, every minigame connects to the wider story, so this detail must be intentional. In sister location, after finishing each shift, Michael returns home and watches a television show. This scene looks almost identical, so I believe the person watching TV is Michael, and the yellow man is his father. That theory becomes stronger when the yellow man reaches the locked room. He speaks like the head of the household, while the person inside seems tightly controlled. This may take place soon after Elizabeth's death, and Michael's dialogue supports that. There's another interesting clue that identifies this as the Afton family. The developer uses color very deliberately and matches dialogue colors across minigames. Michael's lines are consistently grey. That lets us connect this scene to his brother's accidental death. His words become a late expression of regret. At this point, we have nearly every clue needed to reconstruct the Seriestery. Now I'll put them in order and present my full theory to one question: what really happened in Five Nights at Freddy's? It begins in the 1970s with a family of 5. The father was William Afton, alongside his wife, and their 3 children, the eldest, Michael, the crying child, and the youngest, Elizabeth. William designed advanced animatronics and opened Circus Baby's Pizza World to entertain local families and children. He created Circus Baby with features no other matching had, but the design was still experimental. His daughter, Elizabeth, found the machine and approached it alone. Circus Baby's ice cream mechanism pulled her inside and killed her. Somehow, the crying child witnessed the incident. The trauma left him terrified of animatronics. Overwhelmed by their daughter's death, Mrs. Afton blamed William and his inventions. In a moment of rage, William accidentally killed his wife. He hid her body inside Ballora, then locked their crying child away to prevent another tragedy. Circus Baby's Pizza World closed after the incident. About 10 years later, William opened another animatronic restaurant called Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. Its mechanical characters made it hugely popular throughout the area. On his son's birthday, Michael and his friends took a prank too far and accidentally killed the crying child. William was devastated and descended into madness. He placed his son's body inside Golden Freddy, then murdered 5 of the boy's closest friends as well. He hid them inside Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, Foxy, and the puppet, believing this would keep his son from ever being alone. From then on, William became a deranged serial killer. The police never found the missing children or their bodies. The case was soon forgotten, but Freddy Fazbear Pizza was forced to close because of the scandal. 5 years later, in 1987, William reopened it. He hired 2 new guards, Jeremy and Fritz, while his own son, Michael, worked there too. William wore a mascot suit, lured 5 more children into the back room, and murdered them. This led to the event remembered as the Bite of '87. To cover everything up, he fired the entire staff, including his own son, and closed Freddy Fazbear's Pizza again. There, he continued studying the animatronics, testing bodies inside the suits. Freddy and Bonnie, Chica and Foxy were possessed. He lured them into a back room and dismantled them. But he overlooked one final animatronic, Golden Freddy, possessed by his own son. The spirit appeared and terrified him. William hid inside Deethy's Spring Bonnie suit, but its spring locks killed him. As for the eldest brother, Michael Afton, after his younger brother's death, he lived with crushing guilt and felt empty inside. During the events of 1987, he became suspicious of his father and the missing children. Determined to learn the truth, he became Mike Schmidt. The new name also helped him distance himself from his past and his guilt, the guilt of an older brother who killed his own brother. He returned to his father's first facility, Circus Baby's Pizza World, to investigate William's experiments. There, he uncovered horrifying truths, how Elizabeth had died, and how his father had controlled his younger brother. Michael was forced to confront his past, and emerged as someone new, ready to face his monstrous father. 30 years later, he heard about Fazbear's Fright, an attraction designed to recreate the old pizzeria. Strange things happened there at night, so Michael took the night shift. He discovered its only real animatronic was Springtrap, the machine containing his father's spirit. He also uncovered the truth about 1983, the year he killed his younger brother. His father had murdered 5 of the boy's friends and hidden their bodies inside the animatronics. Michael resolved to destroy it all, burning the attraction during the final nights. And that's NexLore's complete theory about story of Five Nights at Freddy's. Did I miss anything or do I saw anything not add up? Comment below. And remember, everything in this video is only a theory. Don't forget to leave a like, share, and follow NexLore. See you in the next video.